Hello, everyone. Once again, this is Dare to Speak. I want to get your honest opinion on this because I think this is very important for me to find out from all of you on what you honestly think about it. I went with my brother somewhere yesterday, and he told me something, and then later on, I heard it from my sister saying that a certain particular neighborhood where a friend of mine lives, which there was a series of robberies in that neighborhood, and it's a very nice, quiet, peaceful suburban neighborhood. However, there was also low rent housing that was placed on that area, and of course, people that can't afford to live in a nice neighborhood who want to leave the ghetto and they come over here and they come over to the nice neighborhood. Like I said before, they need to be screened big time, a serious background check, because they could have relatives that are possibly or that are in gangs or just straight up thugs or troublemakers, ghetto trash, in other words. And there was some people like that, a lot of them, and of course the manager or whoever was in charge, the owner of the building, just didn't give a shit enough to do a serious background check on that on the people that are about to move in, anything about them, and now because of that, there's robberies. Now there's no actual proof of who's doing the robberies, but to me, there's no coincidence that just when this place was opened up and these people were moving in, and then the crime started to go up with robberies. Like several I don't know how many months later, if it was 3 or 4 months later or 6 months, I'm not really sure. But there was a series of robberies that happened just after this building was accepting people from the ghetto. To me, it's not a coincidence. It's common sense. That's all it is. And I mean, I don't want to sound like like a sellout or a fucking race trader or you know anything like that. But I grew up in the ghetto, obviously, and I was more of a, what do you call it, very laid back. I wasn't really you know enthused by a lot of the stupid shit that was going on with a lot of the people that I grew up with, and just seeing. I mean, there was people that were laid back ghetto that I got that I became very good friends with. They were not really all that bad. They were like very mild, very watered down compared to other people because they had better sense. They had much better sense. But then there was also those stupid knuckleheads, and even their piece of shit family that they have. Their parents are just all dysfunctional. And the whole family is just fucking dysfunctional and low life. So obviously, there's no real future for them. That's the thing. Of course, it's not really necessarily their fault that they became that way. Not completely their fault. They're somewhat to blame. Yeah, they need to take responsibility. They need to own up to their own shit and that kind of thing. So they are possibly partially, I'm sorry, they are partially responsible for a lot for their own behavior. I mean, there's some people that grew up in the hood that had it rough and they didn't start doing stupid shit. Now, when these robberies are happening, break-ins and stuff like that. Now, there's also a possibility, but of course, if this, let's just say that there was no low rent housing in the area. Let's just say there was nothing like that at all in that area, and then there was a series of robberies in that neighborhood, in that real nice neighborhood. The only explanation for that would be professional burglars that work for a company that strictly deals with security systems, security home systems. And it's the way to stimulate sales. They'll break into the house of the person, a series of them, and they get so scared, they create enough fear, and then all of a sudden these flyers and commercials about this kick-ass home security system, and then people get so afraid, and knowing that they could actually afford it because this is the suburbs. People that make 80,000, 90,000, 100,000 a year, they could afford it. So they start consuming, they start buying the security systems, and that's how they increase business, which I think is a very fucked up way to do things. But we live in a monetary system. That's how it is. And sometimes it could be people from the poor neighborhoods that will just travel all the way to the nice neighborhoods and start robbing. There's also some cases of that. Now, is like I said before, it's no coincidence that just when this new low rent housing or buildings where all the tenants there are not being screened, and then sometime later, 5 6 months or whatever much time later, series of robberies happen in a very nice suburban neighborhood, and to think that it has nothing to do with the people that live in that building, whether it's them or whether it's friends or relatives of them. Come on. Being ghetto to a mild degree, I don't have a problem with. I mean, like I said, laid back or watered down, and however you want to phrase it, whatever you want to call it. But people that are extremely fucking ghetto, and people that have no fucking sense, immature behavior. They complain about this, they complain about that. They don't fucking own up to their shit. They fucking irritate me like a motherfucker. Being that ghetto is not something to be proud of. It's something to be ashamed of. You might disagree with me, or I don't know, but that's just how I feel. And it's my opinion, if these people didn't exist, or if these people were to miraculously, just by a miracle, were to become more and more watered down, if they were to have a lot more sense, to the point that a lot of ghetto trash people were to be just eliminated, or they just changed their ways for the better, or whatever, however you want to call it, there'll be no more crime. There will actually be no more crime. The crime rate will go down by 85% or whatever, 87% or whatever the case may be. But that's just what I think. I'm not trying to offend anybody. I know there's people that live in the hood that might find it offensive or whatever, but at least try to understand what I'm trying to say. There's a low rent building that's not too far from where I live, and there's people that are ghetto that are, and also there's some trailer parks and stuff like that, and they're okay. I don't really know them. I do say hi when I pass by every now and then, but I get this feeling like I don't trust them. Maybe it's I always trust my intuition, but it's just how I feel. So I want to know from all of you what you honestly, truly think about this. Do you agree with me on this fact, or do you disagree, or I mean, where do you stand on this? I would like to know a lot as much as I can from all of you. So please drop comments. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. And this is Dare to Speak. And to all of you, take care.